The Green Bay Packers today got a big win over the Arizona Cardinals, winning 34-13. It was a pretty good game. Although at times the Packers easily could have given that away. There were many plays that could have had they gone somewhere else. Packers very well could have lost. I mean, there were the 3 turnovers by Arizona. There was that horsepower tackle that was called at towards the end of the second half, which ended up turning into another 7 points for the Packers because instead of potentially keeping the drive going, the plays were canceled out. There was a punt and another punt, and the Packers went down and scored in 2 plays, and it was basically over after that. But let's go over it from top to bottom. Packers win. It's a good day, and let me know what you think down in the comments below. And let's get to it. But yes, Packers won. Jordan Love had a pretty solid game. That one interception that really wasn't his fault because Bo Melton tripped up and the ball went right into the hands of the Arizona defender. Sadly, Xavier McKinney wasn't able to keep a streak going, but the running today was pretty up and down. I mean, Josh Jacobs just couldn't get a lot going after the first quarter. And although I noticed towards the end of the game when Josh Myers went out, now I don't. It's never a good thing when someone gets injured. But if you watch the game, please tell me if I'm wrong that as soon as Josh Myers went out, the running really picked up again. I just don't think Josh Myers is very good. I think he's the one weak link on that defense, and at center, which is such an important position to have one of your weakest offensive linemen at center. It's just not a good look. But Jordan Love had 4 touchdowns today, so that was good. Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, and Christian Watson all had spectacular plays. Jaden Reed went out for a little bit with an injury, but came back in. The defense was pretty solid for the most part. Let's just talk about the offense a little bit. But Jordan Love was pretty good, all things considered. At times, the offensive line just stopped blocking, and there was a time in the third quarter where Love was getting rushed just about every play, and a lot of drives stalled out, but he was still able to get scoring drives done. That nice throw to Christian Watson for the TD was really nice. That was all factor of, like I said, was talking about earlier, that punt that Jaden Reed fumbled on, but lucky for the Packers, there was a horsepower tackle which negated the punt, so they had to punt again, and as a result, the Packers scored 2 plays later. Romeo Dobbs had a nice game after missing last game because of the suspension, so hopefully he'll continue to keep seeing more targets coming his way because he does have really good hands, and he is a good wide receiver. I just don't understand why he threw a big fit. I really don't understand it. He's been getting targets, and like I said in the last video, that up until the point where he got suspended, there's only a 5 target gap between him and Jaden Reed. So it's not like you're not getting targets. It's just I think he wants to be more of the focal point of the offense, and that's good. He's definitely a good wide receiver, and she should have a good fairlight spotlight on him. But I think Jaden Reed is just a little bit better. But they're both great wide receivers. And when they're both playing out there, the Packers' offense is a lot more dynamic. But the Packers should have won this game by even more. I mean, they won up 24-0. And then all of a sudden, that interception turned into a touchdown for Arizona. Then they got a field goal before the end of the first half, and it's like, 24-10. They made 14 points. So, and since the Cardinals have made a couple comebacks this year, it was very feasible that they could make another comeback. They settled for the field goal in the third quarter, but then the fumble started happening. The Cardinals fumbled 3 times in the second half, and I believe two of them were because guys knew how to punch the ball out. Like when our players are really starting to develop or catch up on the Peanut Tillman method, longtime cornerback for the Bears, where he always just had that perfect punch. He could totally punch the ball out, and the Packers are really starting to get a hang of that. 3 turnovers again for the Packers today. I mean, last year the Packers had like 18 turnovers all year. The Packers are close to ascending past that, and it's only been 6 games. What an incredible turnaround. But there's still times where Jeff Hafley's defense just doesn't work well. There's still, even on four-man pressure, they can't get to the quarterback. Even on five-man pressure, they still can't get to the quarterback. I don't think Kyler Murray got sacked once today. And it's not like he was throwing over the field. It's not like he was the best player on the field, but he just made enough moves. He made enough plays to avoid getting sacked. He didn't do enough plays to win, but, he wasn't sacked. So he didn't shoot them on the foot. Although that last fumble, you can arguably say that it was a bad handoff by Murray that allowed the Packers to get the ball back, but he didn't make too many big mistakes. It just didn't do enough to win. They couldn't get anything going on the ground. The Cardinals couldn't. I don't know what was up with James Conner today. I mean, they kind of shuffled him out for a while, shuffling in Amari DeMarcado and Trey Benson as well. So hopefully, for fantasy purposes in the future, James Conner is able to, have some more good games going forward. But he's getting towards the end of his career, and he needs to keep going as long as he can. But if he starts fumbling the ball like he did today, it's not going to end well for them, and the Cardinals could go looking for somebody else. But it's probably a rush of judgment there, and he's still going to be the lead back for the Cardinals for most of the year. I truly believe that, but he did not have a good game today, and it didn't help for the Cardinals also that Marvin Harrison Jr. went out early, got his bell rung. Obviously, he was suffering from a concussion. Like, guys were helping up, and he was woozy. He was woozy, and I don't believe he ever returned to the game. Like, that was a huge weapon. He's like one of the Cardinals' only really true big weapons, and the Packers held him in check today. I mean, up until the injury, the Packers had them under control, and I don't think he even recorded a catch today. I don't think Marvin Harrison had one catch today, which is huge. Sure, yes, he did get hurt. He sure went out with a concussion, but still, the Packers did a good job at keeping him under control. But the defense was pretty solid today for the most part. The turnovers were nice, but again, they got beat a couple times. Trey McBride had a really big game. He had like over 10 receptions, and I think he made it over 100 yards as well. And it's just like, still, the Packers sometimes play that defense where you got three guys surrounded around the target, and then they catch and they close in. But there's a play where Trey McBride is right there. There's three guys around him. Why one of the Packers players doesn't make a break on the ball trying to pick it up, I don't know. Like, they're just sitting back there in the zone, ready to tackle him. It's like, it's good. They tackle him right away. But even still, there's a couple of times where Trey McBride was able to carry the ball a lot further than it should have. The Packers had a couple of times today also where they could have had Kyler Murray back for a sack or a big loss, but he was able to squeak out enough yards to make it a positive game. It's just like their pass rush just needs to get better. I don't know what they have to do. Or for whatever reason, Hafley's system seems to be not so good for Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary has been absolutely absent today, or so far this year. Preston Smith, for the most part, has been absent. And again, I bring him up all the time. Quay Walker didn't make any big plays today. I mean, it wasn't awful, but again, it's just at times he just misses tackles. He misses the lanes, but again, he's still, until he makes a really big mistake, he's still going to be in there as the number one outside linebacker right there for them. Let's be honest, but Packers had a darn good game today. Tucker Kraft didn't have too much, but he got a couple catches here and there. It's just a solid day for Jordan Love. He was good, other than that one turnover that, to be honest, wasn't all his fault. Josh Jacobs just needs to get better, especially as they go into play Houston next week again. Next week it's in Green Bay again, I believe, so that'll be nice. Houston had a big win today over the Patriots, although at times CJ Stroud didn't look all that great either. At times had a bad interception, but Packers got to bring it next week. They're still 4-2, so that's really good, but so is the rest of the NFC. Lions only have one loss. Vikings are still undefeated. The Bears are 4-2, although let's be honest, they haven't played anybody. And it's amazing. The Packers through 6 games are tied for last. But when you look at the overall records of the team, only one NFC North matchup has happened so far: the Packers and the Vikings. The Packers, we came back and won that game. So that division is going to change because the rest of the teams are going to beat up on each other for the rest of the year. There has only been one NFC North matchup so far, and that's going to change quickly. I still believe that there's a real possibility that 3 teams come out of the NFC North because, let's be honest, I think for the NFC West right now, 49ers, even though they've had their ups and downs, still look to be the best team in that division, especially coming after the big win over the Seahawks. NFC South, currently the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are beating down on the Saints, and Falcons still have to play against the Panthers. And the NFC East, even though Washington went down today against the Ravens, they played a pretty good game. Jaden Daniels didn't make any mistakes. The Eagles won, but they didn't look all that impressive because they're playing the Browns. And the Cowboys are going to be playing the Lions. So still plenty more big game matchups coming throughout this year in the NFC. But right now, as it stands right now, I think you're getting 3 teams out of the NFC North. Probably the Packers, probably the Vikings, as long as they don't collapse, and the Lions. I'm sorry, Bears fans, but Packers will get their wins against you. The Vikings will probably split with you, and the Lions, who knows? Bears usually beat up on the Lions, at least lately, but I think the Lions will get their fair share of wins against the Bears this year. But other than that, Packers had a pretty good game. Let's celebrate the win before next week against another true test for the Packers. I mean, if the Packers really want to get some real bona fides going for the rest of the year, beating Houston would be a huge step for them, especially after they lost their 2 big matchups already this year to the Vikings, even though it was close and came down to an onside kick. And the Eagles came down to Jordan Love being injured and Malik Willis just not being ready to go. But Packers win. Let's celebrate. Packers win. Packers win. Packers destroy the Cardinals. They win by 3 touchdowns. And that's a route, in my opinion. But let me know what you think down below. Otherwise, have a great day. Go Pack Go. And God.